Give you a feeling of what it's like in parts of central Tripoli. Mark Stone joins me. He spent 5 weeks in the lovely Rixos Hotel. Like me, is a fellow veteran of sort of semi-house arrest, hotel arrest. A curious sensation there. But tell us a bit more about that, the sort of key part that the Rixos has played in here and our suspicions about it all.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, Jeremy, the first thing to say is that we've seen throughout the day and throughout yesterday lots of coverage from the rebel side of the conflict, very little from Gaddafi's side, and the Rixos is part of the answer to that. The Rixos Hotel is in the centre of Tripoli. It's the place where Colonel Gaddafi and his regime make journalists stay when they are covering the war from their side. And we have minders there. We can't go out without those minders. So the problem now is those journalists that are still there, that happen to find themselves there at this opportune or inopportune moment, can't get out because everyone else has fled. All those minders I just mentioned have gone. All the regime officials, the Musa Ibrahim, the government spokesman, he's gone, appears to have gone, not been seen there at all today. So the journalists that are on the other side of the conflict can't get out of that hotel. Let's look at it on a map. And you can see it's well-placed position. It's strategically placed just southeast of Colonel Gaddafi's compound. And you mentioned the suspicions we have about it. This whole area here is a park. And you'll remember from having been there that a lot of the land in that park is raised, which, from people we've spoken to, suggests that underneath this whole area there could well be bunkers. Now, we don't know if they're there. They may be. Certainly NATO will know if they're there. It's interesting that a lot of these bunkers, and there are many more of them in Colonel Gaddafi's compound, which is up here, Bab al-Azizia, NATO knows where they are because they were built, these bunkers. The bunkers were built by Western companies. NATO may well have the blueprints for those companies, and there were many airstrikes. I remember when I was there a couple of months ago, 18 airstrikes in this one area alone, which is, if you like, an extension of Colonel Gaddafi's compound. So the whole area is quite small, several square kilometres. It is at the moment, as we speak at the moment, a Gaddafi stronghold, one of the few Gaddafi strongholds in that area. So it is key, and who knows what's beneath it.
I mean, there were certainly a lot of curious air vents that you could see from the hotel grounds. They didn't like you going out of the hotel grounds, as you were saying. People got hauled back over the fence, couldn't even go to the shop over the road without a minder. And I think we all had suspicions of what are the monitoring of us and what also might be beneath our feet in that hotel.
Yeah, when you're at the Rixos, the only time you can ever leave is when the government minders say, right, we're going somewhere. Usually it's at night, sometimes it's during the day. Let's have a quick look at a wider map, just to get you an idea of where we are here. So we're right in the centre of Tripoli, Green Square up in the north there. The journey from Rixos Hotel to Green Square is about 15 minutes if the traffic's not too bad, so very near the centre. Let's go back into the tighter map now. Now, just about here is one area that we were taken to in May. It's in the middle of his compound. Incidentally, getting into his compound, you have to go through a series of huge walls. So this is the problem the rebels are having now. Now, that dot that I've put on there, we filmed some video there when we were taken on one of these visits. You can see it here. Now, those people are hiding something. It was quite clear to us they were standing in front of a stairwell that was going down. They didn't want us to see what that stairwell was. I put it to one of the people that was there, a voluntary human shield, he called himself. I asked him what that stairwell was. This is a flavour of the sort of reaction we got. I'm trying to understand why NATO did this, and I'm asking where those stairs go.
You have nothing to do with the stairs. If you were really looking for the truth, you have nothing, but you focus only in small details or something that nothing to do with the point. There's explosion here, and there's many people who are sleeping there, and there's many people dead, but you don't care. You care about steps and stairs down or up. This is bullshit.
He was pretty angry. I later learnt he was actually a government minder. He wasn't, it didn't appear to be one at that stage. He said he just slept there. He said he was a dentist. He may well be a dentist, but he's clearly a government loyalist. So I was putting it to him, you know, next to that there was a huge NATO bomb, a crater, and I said to him, you know, it looks like we can see why NATO are hitting there. There's a stairwell going down. He wasn't having any of it. It'd be interesting to know where he is now. The other thing I'll mention very briefly, you and I and everyone else in the Rixos both thought that our emails, our phone calls were being monitored. No way of proving it, but there is now, because the journalists in that hotel have discovered in one of the rooms downstairs pages and pages of emails, our emails, printed out, so they were monitoring it all.
And there were certainly lots of clinks and clunks in the walls beside us that sounded like people were listening in, and lots of clinks and clunks on the phone. But there was also a feeling that quite a lot might have been going on in the basement, beneath the Rixos as well.
Yeah, I mentioned this whole area on the map that you can see here, that where there may be a compound. There is a suggestion, again, we may well find out whether it's true, that there was a tunnel leading all the way from Bab al-Azizia, Colonel Gaddafi's compound, to the Rixos Hotel, which you'll remember Colonel Gaddafi at one point popped up in the Rixos Hotel. He did an interview. No one knew he was there. He appeared on camera. We were having dinner 30 yards from where he was. Only when the interview was aired on state television, we looked at the telly, we thought, God, that's a room we go into every day. The minders laughed at us and they said, you had no idea he was here. How did he get there? It would have been probably too dangerous for him to drive there. Maybe he went in this tunnel, if it exists. Who knows? But there are certainly an awful lot of compounds, tunnels, bunkers underneath Bab al-Azizia. If he is hiding in Tripoli, as Lisa Holland said earlier, she reckons he's there. If he is there, then he'll probably be in one of those bunkers.